So you really thought I was gonna go like an entire month without doing rankings? Because no, when there's no baseball, when the lockout's going on, I gotta get creative. And while we've used the entire month of December to focus on the best players currently in Major League Baseball, I wanna start thinking about the future. Let's talk about some of the young guys, some of the prospects that maybe you aren't too sure about, or maybe you wanna learn more about these guys. I'm hoping I can be that channel. I'm hoping I can be that outlet for you to learn more about prospects and the upcoming talent in Major League Baseball, because let me tell you, it's absolutely loaded. Today, we're getting it started with the top 10 catching prospects. In my opinion, I'm not going off of any lists. I'm looking at stats. I'm looking at evaluations. I'm looking at projections. And these are the 10 guys right now in the minors that I think are the best catching prospects. I also want to make a note here. I'm not including guys who are going to be on a Major League roster guaranteed to start the year. Joey Bart, Keibert Ruiz, to name a couple. I know they're technically prospects, but for these videos, I'm going to focus on guys that really aren't guaranteed to be starters right now. I want to do this with every position, but I also want to make sure this is something that you guys want to see. So if you do enjoy this kind of content on the channel, I know I always ask for it, but a like does really show me that you want to continue seeing this kind of content on my channel. Subscribe if you have not yet done so, because if you do subscribe, you'll then see when this content comes out. Let's be honest, you don't want to miss it. Get in the comment section down below. Let me know who your favorite catching prospect is, or maybe even a sleeper. Who's someone I didn't show enough love to? Let me know in the comments down below, and drop me a follow on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Link is in the description. Getting today's video started, coming in at the number 10 spot, I'm going with Endy Rodriguez, catcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, if you're a Mets fan, this name might sound familiar to you because, well, he was a former Mets prospect. We traded him in the Joey Lucchesi, Joe Musgrove 3-team trade, and he's looking pretty good. I mean, I think he's a legitimate top 10 catcher in the minor leagues right now in baseball, and I think a lot of people also agree with me. Last year was his first full season in the minors, 98 games, 377 at-bats, 15 homers, 25 doubles, 6 triples, and 73 RBIs, hitting .294 with a 380 on base, 512 slugging, and an 892 OPS. What I particularly love from the offensive side as well with Endy Rodriguez was the 50 walks and 77 strikeouts. That's a really nice ratio for a 21-year-old catcher in what is really his first year at a decent level in the minors. Endy Rodriguez is a switch hitter. He's a pretty good athlete. While he maybe isn't the sharpest behind the plate right now, he is making strides defensively to improve his game that can lead you to believe he could be a catcher at the major league level one day. He's got a clean, smooth stroke, hits the ball hard from both sides, good power, projects to be a plus hitter, and he had the lowest swinging strike percentage of any hitter in his league last year. Endy Rodriguez, really solid player. I do think he's a top 10 catcher right now in the minor league systems, and that's why I got him here at number 10. A little under the radar, but he's very good. Next up at the number 9 spot, Oakland A's top prospect, catcher, maybe a first baseman, but we'll call him a catcher for right now. That's going to be Tyler Soderstrom. This dude, he looked really, really good last year, and his hit tool is extremely promising. That's the big thing around Tyler Soderstrom here. Defensively, as a catcher, doesn't really got the chops right now, but at the plate, oh my goodness, Tyler Soderstrom looks legit. I see why people were so hyped about him. I was sleeping on him. I got too caught up in the long swing and the fact that he couldn't really catch. He can rake. Last year in 57 games, 254 plate appearances, 12 homers and 20 doubles with a triple, 49 RBIs, hitting .306 with a 390 on base, 568 slugging, and 957 OPS. I mean, he was destroying baseballs last year. A good left-handed swing. Again, may not really slot in at the catcher position in the future. Right now, that's kind of where he classifies. And it feels like everyone who's watched this guy play the past season, their projections, everything, he's something special at the plate. They think that if he sticks at catcher, you'll have the ability to be one of the best offensive catchers in the league. And even without that, he's still going to have the ability to be a guy who is special at the plate regardless of his position. We're looking at a 300 hitter and 25-30 home runs a year. Tyler Soderstrom is a really, really good player. For the 8th best catcher in the minor leagues, I want to talk about San Diego Padres prospect Luis Campusano. We've known about Campusano. This dude has been one of the top catching prospects in baseball for the last few years, and we saw him get ranked as high as number 36 last year by Baseball America in the preseason rankings. And for good reason. I mean, Campusano has played at a high level in 2021. He had 81 games in AAA, and he hit really, really well. 15 homers, 21 doubles, 45 RBIs, 295 average, 365 on base, 541 slugging, and a 906 OPS. This is after a strong 2019 at high A ball with Lake Elsinore, where he had a 906 OPS. His offensive game looks really strong. Now, at the major league level, we've seen him play in about 12 games, and he hasn't shown us much, but it's an extremely small sample size. I don't think it's completely fair to judge him on that. In terms of his game, there isn't necessarily anything that Luis Campusano does at an extremely elite level. He's a very well-rounded player. There have been some struggles, but overall, he is definitely a top 10 catcher in the minor leagues. Coming in at the number 7 spot, prospect catcher for the Atlanta Braves, Shae Langeliers. Langeliers was a guy that had some hype. He was a first-round pick back in 2019 out of Baylor. He was considered to be one of the best catchers in college baseball at the time. Got a little overshadowed by some guys, but still very good. And last year, we really saw Shae Langeliers take a big step forward in his game. He had been a great offensive player at Baylor, but again, that's college baseball. It's a little different. 2019, in the small sample we saw, the numbers weren't impressive, but last year in AA and a little bit in AAA, 97 games, 340 at-bats, 22 homers, 15 doubles, 53 RBIs, great offensive numbers, 256 average, 339 on base, 494 slugging, 833 OPS. Not to mention that Langeliers' best aspect of his game is his defense. He is fantastic behind the plate. So you're looking at a guy who had all the stuff defensively, adding in this ability to hit like he showed last season. Langeliers has a chance to be a really good catcher. He'll probably play the majority of the next season in AAA with the ability to get called up at some point because, let's just be honest, the Braves catching isn't that deep. But after what I would call a breakout eye-opening season last year for the Atlanta Braves, Langeliers is definitely a guy to watch. The glove and the arm are silly. Now that he can hit, starting to get a little scary. Just missing on the top 5, coming in at number 6, we've got Dodgers prospect catcher Diego Cartaya. Diego Cartaya is a guy who I could see being in the top 3 by the end of the season, but right now I'm going to conservatively keep him outside the top 5. But let me tell you why he has the ability to fly up these rankings. Switch hitting catcher, great arm, pretty good behind the plate. While he isn't the greatest athlete by any means, the ability that he has right now at only the age of 20 years old is really encouraging for Diego Cartaya. Cartaya last year only played in 31 games, and in his minor league career thus far, he's only played in 80, but still in those 80 games, 14 homers, 18 doubles, 2 triples, and 53 RBIs, hitting 288 with a 369 on base, 502 slugging, and an 871 OPS. Last year, a 409 on base percentage in the 31 games, but he's got a good approach, hits the ball hard to all fields. Again, switch hitter. This seems to be like kind of a popular thing now with catchers. He does it from both sides. A couple people have comped him to Salvador Perez. I don't really feel the same way. I think he might be a little bit different, but in the same regards, their size is similar, and that's still a pretty good catcher to be compared to. So Diego Cartaya just missing on the top 5 for me at number 6. Getting the top 5 started at the number 5 spot, another Pittsburgh Pirates catcher, Henry Davis. Henry Davis, of course, number 1 overall pick in this last year's draft by the Pittsburgh Pirates out of the University of Louisville, which has just been a baseball powerhouse, and most recently gave us catcher Will Smith, who's been great. Henry Davis has the ability to be a great catcher at the major league level. Offensively, he is fantastic. I mean, while his swing doesn't look the most fundamentally sound, he absolutely crushes baseballs. You see the exit velos this guy puts out, and you go, oh yeah, he knows how to hit. While he does need to improve a little bit defensively behind the plate in terms of receiving and blocking, he has an absolute cannon of an arm, an absolute seed, a hose. You can't talk much better about his arm than I am right now. Just because he was the number 1 overall pick doesn't mean he automatically gets to be the top catcher in my rankings, but I do think that at the number 5 spot, with how talented the catching prospects are right now in Major League Baseball, it feels like a great place to be for Henry Davis, who really has only played, 8 games of professional baseball? Hard to judge too much, but from what we've seen, he hits for power, he's a good hitter, commands the zone well, and he's going to be a special player. Oh boy. Coming in at number 4, one of the most fun prospects in this video, MJ Melendez of the Kansas City Royals. If you guys don't know about MJ Melendez, let me tell you about this dude, because it's scary what this dude could possibly be offensively at the plate. And what's also crazy too is defensively, that's basically his best tool. Defensively, he was elite. He's great. He's got a cannon of an arm. Very athletic. Has had scouting grades that have put him in that 60 range. There is still some improvements to be made, of course, but when you see these offensive numbers I'm about to tell you about, you can look past some of the imperfections. Last year, MJ Melendez led all of minor league baseball in home runs, 123 games, 531 plate appearances, 41 homers, 22 doubles, 3 triples, 103 RBIs, hitting 288 with a 386 on base, 625 slugging, and a 1011 OPS. That is with 45 games at AAA, 79 in AA. Like, he was no slouch. He was 4 years younger than the average AAA player, 2 years younger than the average AA player, and he was tearing it up. I mean, MJ Melendez is one of the most exciting catching prospects, and we've now seen the Royals do this with a guy like Salvador Perez at the major league level, who the power came on late. It seems like they might have figured something out with how to really get the most out of their hitters power-wise. MJ Melendez is just another one of those guys. Circle him, whatever you want to do. Keep an eye out for this guy next season. Coming in at the number 3 spot, I'm going to go with Gabriel Moreno of the Toronto Blue Jays. This is one of the highest risers in all the lists, it felt like, the last season. A dude who kind of came into the year a little bit unknown. There wasn't as much hype as there currently is on him because, let's be honest, in the years past, he put up solid numbers. But this past year in 2021, albeit smaller sample, he really popped off. In 37 games last year, Moreno hit 8 homers, 10 doubles, a triple, and 45 RBIs, hitting 367 with a 434 on base, 626 slugging, and a 1060 OPS. He tore up the fall league as well in 22 games, 329 average, 410 on base, 904 OPS. I mean, everywhere this guy's gone, he's hit, and it seems like he's only getting better. Again, at only 21 years of age, this dude is an animal. Some consider him to be the best prospect in that Toronto Toronto Blue Jays organization. Defensively, he's fine. He is not elite by any means, but he is definitely no slouch behind the plate as a catcher, and he has a great hit tool. His barrel rates, his contact rates, he doesn't strike out at all. This is a dude who just understands how to hit and does it at an extremely high rate with really high exit velos. Moreno is a guy that is a quick riser, and expect to see him towards the top of this list, maybe even taking #1 by year's end. Now, just missing out on the #1 spot, coming in at #2, I mean, you knew I had to talk about him. It's my boy, Francisco Alvarez, El Troll, in case you didn't know, New York Mets. And no, this isn't Mets bias, guys. Francisco Alvarez is truly one of the most exciting prospects in baseball, not just at the catcher position, just in general. Alvarez put up great numbers when he was 17 years old back in 2019, but we hadn't seen him play since then because, of course, COVID. 2021 comes around, he starts off in A-ball with St. Lucie, 15 games, 1200 OPS, send him up. He goes to Brooklyn, which is just one of the harder parks to hit in right now in minor league baseball. You're on the water, it's tough. He still had 22 homers, 13 doubles, and a triple with 58 RBIs. 247 average doesn't sound great, but a 351 on base with a 538 slugging gave him an OPS high A-ball at 889. He was 4 years younger than the average player. He just turned 20 a month ago. Francisco Alvarez is unbelievably talented, and he's going to be able to stick at the catcher position as well. He's definitely got some things to work on defensively, but at the plate, he has the ability to take pitches, make hard contact, make it consistently, get good lift on the ball, read breaking balls. I mean, if you watch this guy stand at the plate, you wouldn't think he's 20 years old. He's got the experience, the confidence, the ability of someone way beyond his years. And it's not just me hyping this guy up. Go to any major baseball prospect publication, and Francisco Alvarez is one of the top guys consistently on the list. He has the ability to be one of the star catchers in Major League Baseball as long as his career continues on this path. I don't think he'll get called up next season just because it's a little aggressive of the Mets, but if he's tearing up the minors like he has the last few years, and the Mets need a catcher badly, don't be shocked if Francisco Alvarez gets at least a chance maybe, because he really is that special of a hitter. He like literally could be like middle of the order kind of guy. Hot take, probably a better hitter than James McCann and Tomas Nido right now. And then coming in at #1, I mean, the guy needs no introduction. He's the best prospect in baseball right now by many people's standards. It's gonna be Adley Rutschman of the Baltimore Orioles. What's there not to like about Adley Rutschman? I mean, maybe his age, that's probably the only thing, but #1 overall pick back in 2019 out of Oregon State, switch hitting catcher. He does everything just phenomenally well. I mean, the dude rakes at the plate. He's got true all-star MVP type potential, especially from the catcher position. You want to talk about building your organization around a core piece? Adley Rushman is going to be that guy for the Orioles, and for good reason. He threw out 27% of base stealers last year because he's got a great arm. He's a fantastic receiver. He blocks the ball well. He's overall a very, very good catcher defensively. He's got contact and power grades of 70 across the board. I mean, no one around the league, no one in baseball thinks that this guy isn't going to be an absolute stud. Hits the ball hard, hits it to all fields, doesn't swing and miss, takes 14.5% walk rate, is among some of the best in all of the minors. I mean, you're talking about a guy who has an ability to do things at an elite level. Granted, he is a little bit older than some of the guys that we mentioned in today's video, but Adley Rutschman should be the opening day catcher for the Baltimore Orioles. And if he's not, you should throw the Orioles GM in jail. This dude is a generational type talent. He's a stud, and he is the best catching prospect in Major League Baseball. So there they are, my top 10 catching prospects in Major League Baseball for the 2022 season. I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Who got left off? Who got ranked too high? Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. That way I know to continue doing this kind of content on the channel, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on said content for the channel. Little PSA here, guys. I've been getting super into cards, so if you want to check out, my opinion on cards and stuff, I'm going to leave a link to that channel in the description down below. I hit this $3,000 Marcelo Meyer card yesterday. Still can't believe that's real. Links in the description along with all my other social media. And that's where I'm wrapping up today's video. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.